Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good to see you again. We've got a matchup against my main man, Kevin, here. He's playing RP Law. He is the RP Law dude when it comes to locals. And yeah, I am playing Gecko, but as much as I want to keep this hand, I was like, what would I get off this injury? So super glad I didn't. I was just curious to see, before I mulligan, I know I'm going to, but would it have been good enough? Because the toughest part about this matchup is seeing all those removal pieces. You just got to have it against RP Law. They just flood the board even better than you do whilst removing things. So it's pretty annoying. Pretty tough to deal with, especially when they can have like 8 copies of the same card in the deck. Yeah, I feel pretty confident with Gecko Moria into this matchup, but at the same time, it's still just not as clear as I want it to be. And I end up picking up 2 Sabos. I pick up a Lucci. Lucci's always nice in this matchup, but I haven't seen any Great Eruptions or Ice Ages, so nothing to really like combo off of that. I'll just go ahead and pass it over. He's going to pass it right back as well, and we get the Gecko Moria. Gecko isn't going to do me much good here. I am just going to go ahead and use the effect, though, to get Perona into trash, and lucky for me, I get a Hogback as well as an Absalom. That's fantastic for dealing with whatever he might have coming at me the following turn, but 6k, I will just go ahead and take. I'll pick up the Hogback, and now drawing into a second Lucci. Not my favorite thing, but Sabo at least allows me to kind of fix up my hand a little bit, and I do find that reduction that I had been looking for, so very happy about that. I'm just thinking about what I need to get into trash, and I'm thinking it's more than likely going to be Hogback and Lucci. Yeah, so Hogback and Lucci are just going to go in. We're going to keep some of that reduction, but also a little bit of the counter power for whatever swings he might have. Now, I don't swing with Perona here because I don't want to give my opponent an easy target whilst also bottom decking, you know, the other target. So I'm fine with maybe taking 1 life here, going down to 3. And I do end up losing my Sabo, but Sabo did its job, so I'm happy. A 5k swing, though, I can give a brand new pretty easily. And then whatever the following, which would more than likely be a 6k, I can just go ahead and take. But I decide to take this one and counter out with Suru, which was kind of interesting. I think probably just countering out with brand new on the 5 and then taking the 6 would have been the better route, but I decide to, yeah, just get the Suru into trash. I think I wanted it there for a Moria play, but I'm now thinking about after drawing into this Sakazuki, playing this down. So I go ahead and get rid of the 5-cost kid, which is nice. And now I can kind of swing into board. Sakazuki is such a problem for my opponent here. If he is going to use like a Gordon or something of the sorts, it's going to be a lot. He might also have Fire Fist, which he does, and it does reduce the Sakazuki down to a 3-cost, so it's not going to stay here very long, which is a little unfortunate. We're going to see 7k into Perona. I don't think I'm defending this, but he does have a lot of Dawn left, so I'm just going to have to let it go. But Dawn -3 gets rid of Saka here, and now a 6k or 7k. I believe this is a 7k swing. I'm just thinking of whether I wanted to keep that Great Eruption or not. I think it's probably the best option considering I'm about to do a Moria play more than likely. So I can do Great Eruption, Moria, and like a Lucci Suru play. Get rid of pretty much his whole board. He also hasn't drawn into a Reiju, which is really nice, so his hand size is very small. He's only got, I think, 1 card in hand at the moment. We still have plenty of cards. He's trying to end this game as quickly as possible, so this play is going to kind of like turn this very much so in my favor. But he does have 2 cards in hand. So defending the Shariah might be possible, depending on what he's got going on here. But just from body language, it looks as though he's like, yeah, this is not going well for me. But I'll use Lucci to KO those two. I end up getting 3 sent back to the bottom of the deck here. I'm going to go with Lucci just because I don't have another 8 cost. As nice as it is to have in trash, I just don't have the 8 cost, so I'm going to try and stay as healthy as possible. He does counter out of this Shariah hit, though. Only has 2 cards in hand. Plenty of Dawn, but it is a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance to be in right now. If he is going 7 with Shariah, this makes me feel like, okay, he's for sure got like Kid and Killer or Zoro or something in hand, because he's just going for it right now. So we're going to see a 7 to life. I think I can just take this kind of comfortably, but I might also just counter out. But I do decide to take it. Oh, and that's just the nail in the coffin. Great Eruption does get rid of Otama here. We're going to see an 8k to life. I want him to play that final card, so I am just going to take this. And actually, funny enough, it was not it was not the Kid and Killer. So I put him on potentially having Kid and Killer there, but now with no cards in hand, I can just clean up. I can just go 5 with Suru, the biggest threat. I can go 9 and then 10 with Gecko. We take the match pretty solid, but if he had drawn into a Reiju, I think this would have definitely been a much more difficult match to deal with. Reiju's just like that consistency of keeping your hand size up, and that would have been really nice for Kevin here. But we end up playing out a second match just because we finished a little bit earlier than a lot of the a lot of our people playing the games around us. And the second match, he does end up seeing a Reiju, so we end up having a pretty solid match, all things considered. This is a nasty hand if I was playing any other matchup. Just not having removal is so brutal. I'm like, I could take the gamble here, and so I checked to see what Sindri would have got me. It would have got me 1 Absalom, so honestly, not all that bad, all things considered, but just not having like any removal whatsoever it's just really scary. I'm kind of playing a guessing game with Brand New and Sindri into like hoping I see something to be able to deal with my opponent's board. So I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan. I'm trying to find those Luccis, Ice Ages, Great Eruptions, all that good stuff. And I end up getting Absalom, Great Eruptions. I mean, that's a solid hand. I'm okay with this. The only thing that would have made this a bit better is if I had seen a Sindri. I would have loved to have like multiple cards in trash and just kind of cycle through it. So with 1 Dawn, I believe I just pass it over. I don't hate this, but with 2 Great Eruptions in hand, it is a little greedy. Or maybe I'm thinking about using 1. Okay, I do. I'm happy with that. And now I'll pass it back over. Yeah, I think having Great Eruptions actually like invaluable sometimes, but it is also a pretty dead card, if I don't have multiple sources of removal. So I'm just going to go 6 now, using that leader effect to trash Hogback, hoping for a Perona, but I end up seeing Sindri. I don't hate that I played out the Hogback, but at the same time, like, maybe using Sindri here would have been a slightly better play. I would have been able to get a little more into my trash and just kind of move from there. He does get to ramp 1 here, as well as get a 6k through. I'm seeing all of the Ice Ages and everything, but I'm not seeing the Luccis. So I kind of wish that I had used the Sindri at this point. It would have helped me potentially find the cards that I was looking for. This is definitely looking like a Sabo play. I mean, I can just use the Great Eruption into the Absalom, but I think I'm getting a little greedy here. I'm going to go ahead and do exactly that. I put Lucci into trash, though, which is solid. Especially, I think we have, if I'm not mistaken, the 8-cost Moria in hand. Or maybe that might have been the previous game. Yeah, we don't have it, actually. So not having Moria, it is what it is. But he counters out with a, I believe it's a Shachi Penguin. If not, it looks like it might just be a Hitokiri. And so this 6k is going to connect and get him down to 2 life. But now with the raise max, I'm losing my Absalom, which is not great whatsoever. I don't have any other removal. I'm kind of relying on seeing 8 cost for a Lucci play and following up, but I don't want to lose this hogback, but at the same time, I don't really know how much I'm willing to dedicate like a lot of cards from my hand to protecting it. But we do get very, very lucky here. I'll take it. We draw into a Lucci finally, especially on such a high dawn turn. The tough part is, though, I've already kind of used all of those Great Eruptions, and I would have preferred to draw a card, but I'm just going to double Great Eruption, and I'm going to hit him with a Lucci to remove the board. But now I have pretty much, like, I've blown my cover. I'm like, I got four cards in hand. I don't have many options for the following turns to remove his board, but at least we were able to kind of set up now. Lucci is going to be kind of annoying for him to deal with if he doesn't have that raise max yet again. He does have an insane amount of cards in hand, so I wouldn't put it past him for having it. 6k swing here is also kind of annoying, but he drops the double Otama and hits me with the Lucci being bottom decked. And he was like, oh yeah, I don't know why I trashed those. Meant to put them back on the field. And he does get to play a card from hand, Reiju. Reiju just keeps him up, so he's looking healthy. He's looking good. I don't really have too much to work with here. Drawing into an 8 cost would be absolutely fantastic, but unfortunately, we just don't hit it. I am now in this weird spot where I know that I'm more than likely going to take at least 1 life, potentially 2 next turn. And I pick back up Lucci. I'm going to go ahead and play Suru, lowering down the Reiju. Now I can get a Lucci play. This doesn't really help me all that much because Suru's going to be KO'd by Otama. I can get a 6k swing through. I don't have anything in trash. I've got 2 in hand. If he has the removal for Lucci, it's just going to be really rough. But another 5-cost kid coming down. You know, just being able to see those really important ramp pieces early on and the Ein right here just to make it even worse is like so brutal. So the Otama takes out my Suru. A 5k swing. I already know he's got 3 Dawn left, so I'm more than likely going down to 2 if I don't counter this. But unfortunately, I feel as though I kind of have to. But if he could just also just swing 5, which he does now, leaving the 3 Dawn up. So that means I'm definitely going to be seeing that Shiraya. So he's got 2 great blockers, still healthy on life and hand sizes. I believe like 4 cards in hand. So we're looking pretty miserable. We're looking pretty miserable. I do not have many plays. At least I have the Lucci on board. It didn't get removed this turn. That's one positive that came out of this particular turn for us. But I'm going to go ahead and rest 5, playing out the Sabo, seeing if I can draw into something lucky. Unfortunately, I get an Absalom a little later than I wanted to. I also don't have the removal in hand anymore to kind of combo with the Absalom. If I had Hina as well as that before I had played the Sabo, it would have been fantastic, but just not there. I am going to keep the Hina, though. This is kind of interesting. I don't hate this, but I'm trying to think of, like, the future turn of going for game. So I'm putting my opponent on not being able to go for game this turn, making it a little more inconvenient. But I swing 7 with Lucci. I think 8 actually would have been fine here, but he does end up letting it go, so I kind of get one through. Now if I go 7 with leader to use leader effect, it's just going to get Sharia'd pretty quickly. But I'm going to go 7, I think, into Otama. Yeah, I'm going to go 7 into Otama, just playing out the Perona. And I just go ahead and pass. I don't want him to have enough swings if he's able to bottom deck my Sabo and just go for it. So that's the only reason I ended up getting rid of Otama right there. But the Queen is going to allow him to draw a couple more. He ends up trashing out that Toy Soldier, Toy Law. And now just really annoying 6k swings. He knows I only have one card in hand. I'm more than likely going to lose Lucci and Sabo, so that just doesn't feel great. And there's the Gordon going on to the Sabo. Just rough. Just absolutely rough. We weren't able to flood the board as much as we'd like to. He was able to do just that, and so much ramp. Like, this game has been really brutal. 2 5 costs, an Ein, two of the Mr. 2s. I mean, it's been a pretty rough match for us. I have finally drawn into a cost Moria. It's unfortunate though. It's just a little late. Had it been maybe a turn earlier, this would have been, I wouldn't say easier to deal with, but it would have been more manageable at least. We probably would have been able to get rid of at least 1, potentially 2 off the board, and kind of whittle my way into a winning position. But I'm just gonna have to use Hina, unfortunately, right here. Rest in the 3. I'm gonna put it onto Queen because I already know that Shariah's just gonna probably block whatever I do. I can't swing too hard either because I know that Shariah's just gonna, if it does, it's just gonna end up like blocking out everything I do. So I'll go ahead and use Absalom, but now swinging into Ein, he's thinking about whether he wants to let it go or just let Ein, or excuse me, let Shariah counter out. And now I do make a slight misplay here, but I end up correcting it. I just realized that I had just played the Hina. I meant to swing with Perona. Not a huge deal, but take it back real fast. And now he goes 7 to life. I've only got 2 cards, a little 5, and the rest on leader. I take the L. But solid matches all around. I thought these were great games, and I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right? Peace.